with us on Season 2, Episode 26, where we watch Canada's Worst Driver, Season 8, Episode 4. Sitting to my left is...
James.
Sitting to his left.
Robert Kitts.
Sitting to my right.
Maxio Andretti, a.k.a. Maxio Lemieux.
And I'm Chris Lorenz. Pretty interesting show.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it gets. It gets a pretty interesting show.
Pretty interesting. Okay. He didn't say it was poop. So that's,
That's a rare occurrence
that's
from
odd.
the Chris Lorenz.
Right.
Rob, you want to hit us with this description?
All right, are you guys ready for this description?
Oh,
man.
yes.
8 Canadians are sent to a driver rehabilitation center to test their driving skills. Canada's Worst Driver.
There you have
Very
it.
descriptive. Very descriptive.
Very to the point.
Do we have 8 contestants in this episode?
So I think some people have been voted off already.
No, so I was like,
We definitely had 6 contestants in the episode.
okay. I didn't know how many we had in count.
I actually thought there was 7 until they got to the end and they had the 6 lined up who were going to leave. And I was like, oh, I guess there's only 6 because there's only 6 people there.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just these 8 or so people doing driving courses, and they have an awful host and a worse podcast in the show.
But
Definitely.
the actual action of the show is so entertaining that I would say it redeems it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely nice. It's definitely good to watch people just fail. It's just entertaining. These just people just failing hardcore.
Do we want to go through the challenges?
Sure.
So the first challenge, which I think is actually really hard, is you have a van with a hot dog trailer attached to it, and you have to navigate it around a bend and
It was unclear to me that they had to back it up the whole time, or if it was you back it up, you turn around, you go straight for a little bit, then you back it up again.
No, I think you're backing it up the whole time. So there's sort of a straightaway, but the thing about backing up with the trailer is it's really hard to do that
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
The thing is, these courses aren't what you would give a beginner driver. They're just
One of them is easy.
yeah, I mean, some of them are easier than others, but they're not they're not what I would give a 16-year-old as they're learning how to drive. This is
This isn't your intro to driving course. This is they call it precision steering sections and other such things multiple times.
This one particularly, the first one it's agreed not easy. I don't think it's as hard as they make it to be, but it's not particularly my first try, I'm getting it.
If you've ever played Euro Truck Simulator 2, you know how hard backing up with a trailer can be.
Specifically that version of that game.
What about American Truck Simulator?
I'm unfamiliar with the game American Truck Simulator.
What
I've
about-
also
wait,
never
what about-
driven a truck.
What about Farming Simulator 2010?
Hell of a game, let me tell you.
I thought it was 2015.
Oh, you're right. It was 2015.
Yeah,
Thanks.
get the game. Right.
Yeah, shit.
I don't know how the trailers work in that game.
Oh, it's great. You have to
That's
attach
awful.
to them, and it's real difficult to drive giant tractors with trailers.
Do you ever back the trailers around a corner?
You have to, yeah. You have to put them in the barns and shit.
Oh.
It's real difficult.
What happens if you just leave the trailer outside and don't put it in the barn?
I don't know.
Somebody steals it, goes away.
Whatever the hell, I guess.
Rob, what are your thoughts on this challenge?
So, to your point, this isn't a beginner learning to drive challenge, but all these people are not learning to drive. They are out there on the roads, and they're friends or family were you need to go on this show because you gotta stop driving in the real world without getting some skills. So, and they get a tutorial, a driving expert sits with them in another truck and in a parking lot and sort of explains some basics to them first. It's not you're just hey, go back up this trailer. You do get a little bit of a intro to it.
Yeah. It seems like they kind of team up. There's a lesson, then there's okay, we're going to talk about it. Okay, then we're going to do it. I'm going to show you. And then, okay, now it's your turn. See if you can do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, they definitely don't just throw you out there to drive. Okay, figure it out.
It was nice that the first one they showed, he did pretty good and got done in 3 minutes. We're oh, is that good? Is that not good? Whatever. Then the next person did it in 37 minutes.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
some people didn't finish it.
Somebody did in 57 minutes.
I know. And then
That's better than not finishing it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Multiple people quit. I think there was like
I don't
2
know.
or 3 people that quit.
I think 3 people quit.
Yeah.
There was no like indication of how long they were attempting it though.
No. Oh yeah. They definitely. Yeah. It's like
It seemed like the one
went
guy
for an hour and then quit, or it's like 10 minutes. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
It definitely seemed like the one guy where they like went into like the nighttime. He was probably doing that for a while.
Yeah, they
Oh,
brought
yeah.
brought other trucks out to have their headlights on so we could see where he was going.
Chris, do you want to? How did you feel that shot was captured? With the trucks turning their lights on.
I can't. This is stupid shit in this episode. It's stupid.
I think like you like I heard anger when that shot came on.
I just don't like those kind of jokes the host was doing. I was just
Oh, yeah.
like,
Let's talk with the host for a little bit.
Let's
talk about
gotta break this thing
Andrew
down.
Younghusband.
Who also is a host of another show we've done.
That's right. So
I wasn't there for that.
that's true. But the
Oh, yeah.
the true fans of the podcast have heard our Canada's Worst Handyman pod done on location in Canada.
Our only show we've ever done on location.
I'm not sure that's on location. but-
That's definitely on location. We were.
Well,
in
you weren't
Canada.
on location of the Canada's Worst Handyman set or anything.
We were in Canada. That's one step closer to where Canada's Worst Handyman happens.
All right, go on.
Yeah, also hosted by Andrew Younghusband. And I don't remember him being so annoying in Canada's Worst Handyman.
He was much more reasonable than Canada's Worst Handyman.
I feel like this show got some budget, and then they got some writers to write these corny ass jokes, and then they were like running with it, and like, not good. Just not good.
Can we talk about the host's name? His name is Andrew Younghusbands.
That's correct.
I'm really curious, like, what's the origin story there? Like, is it like, somebody's parents broke up and one was young and one was husband, or like somebody changed their name to Younghusbands? Like, what's the chicken? What's the egg in this?
Scenario.
scenario?
Like back in the day when when you were a carpenter, and then you like that was your last name. You were like Eric Carpenter.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just like his wife was the person that brought in like all of the stuff.
he's
So he
just
was
the
a young
young
husband. So that's how you get that name.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right,
mean,
Max.
What's up?
What country do you think he was born in?
Is this a trick question?
I don't know. You tell me.
Shit. I'm going to say he was born in Mexico.
I'm gonna go with the USA.
You got one, James?
Ooh. So I don't want to repeat one. I'll take. Damn it! All right, I'm gonna roll a dice here. Long shot.
Vanuatu.
No, that was.
Westeros.
I'm just gonna say Switzerland.
Australia.
Damn
Really?
it! That was gonna be
So
my
maybe
guess.
Younghusband is like some sort of Australian thing.
Maybe. Well, that's all the Andrew Younghusband's news we got for you today.
Is there someone out there whose last name is Young Wife?
John,
That would be an interesting male last name for your kid.
yeah, like it would be especially weird to
What
be
if-
married to Andrew Younghusband.
What if Max is just Max Youngwife? And now introducing Max Youngwife.
Maybe that should have been your name for the podcast.
Renamed.
All right.
You are renamed.
All right, I'm pausing. We're going back. We're fixing it.
Reload the
we're
tapes.
starting the podcast over.
Oh man.
Where were we?
So one more
We're
question
gonna
about
try to
Andrew
break down this
Younghusband.
Andrew Younghusband.
I'd
fella.
like to contrast the hosting skills of Andrew Younghusband with the British Bake Off hosts and their British humor. And which one are we more tolerant of?
I feel like Younghusband has to take the cake on this one. Those hosts on the baking show were awful.
They are a blemish on the brands of British humor.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I don't really remember him, to be honest. Did I watch that episode?
You were
Was
definitely there
Oh
for that episode.
man, I don't remember that episode at all.
It is fading for me.
You don't remember Mary Berry?
Oh, Marion Berry's cherry
No, it wasn't
pie.
Marion
Yeah,
Berry.
that was
Berry-
crazy.
Do you want to pop Mary Berry's cherry
Oh yeah.
pie into your mouth?
It's all coming back to him.
No, so Mary Berry was fine, but there's these two young hosts,
Oh man, Max is treading here.
and they're terrible.
All right. So outside of the host,
No, this host
James.
is insane.
Take it away.
So like throughout this host ride's such like a roller coaster of like sometimes he's crushing it and you're like that was amazing, and then other times you think he's the worst person you've ever seen, and you can't believe how bad it is sometimes. But then
well,
there's moments of
James,
greatness.
give us one of these good jokes, and then give us a bad joke.
So like I think it was when I don't know one of the drivers fucked up as they would, and he's just standing there like arms spread, just looking at him like, really? Is that what you're gonna do? Just gonna hit that concrete barrier right now? And he's just looking at him, and it's just they're like, you're crushing it. Just be like that.
I think he's got to stop making the jokes. I think his
jokes,
verbal humor is lacking.
His
but
mannerisms are good.
His mannerisms and
Yeah.
presence is good.
Yeah,
so you
he's
just got to
got a
stick to
good-
that.
He's got like a good energy. It's just he's not funny. Real like he's just not a joke guy.
And there was also that one time he was laying down the law where he's like trying to tell this 18-year-old like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
speed kills, people die on the road. I need you to take this seriously. I don't feel he really sold it that well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're talking about not the worst part of this show.
That's
Tell us
that's
more about the
true.
worst part of the show, Chris.
So like last week when we discussed Terrace House, there was a group of people that commented on the show about the show as the show went on, like interjected into the show. This show has the same thing where they have like judges that occasionally get like some shots into the episode while we're watching it. And they're the most god-awful things ever. If you think the humor is bad, imagine humorless, terrible comments that are, just repeats of what other people are saying. It's just like you need to remove that whole piece from the show. It's awful. Just have the judges come in at the end if you want them. Just don't interject it into the episode.
I think they feel that just because they have the judges, they want you to kind of feel like, oh, the judges are a part of this the whole way and they're watching, but it's real forced. It really doesn't fit well and at all in there.
Yeah, it's just like the guy runs into the cement barriers like, oh no, or like, you shouldn't do that. That was bad. Or
No, there was
he's
a lot
going
of,
too fast.
He's going too fast. I was going to say, like, they'll just suddenly cut to them and be like, he's going too fast.
Like literally, they can just pile these judges into a room for 10 minutes and just cut it. They're good.
Yeah, I was thinking like you just get them for voiceover or whatever. It's like here's what I think about whatever.
They're bad.
But I guess what
but
they do is
they're not good actors. So like these judges are like whatever, are like an expert in a particular field. Like one is like a stunt driver, one is like a psychologist or something. And then there's one like
one was
general
a
teacher.
former cop who's like a legal expert, and
Right.
one was just like a driving teacher.
Right, and so like they're not really like actors, and so like they're not great on TV, and so when they shoot it, it comes across pretty bad and pretty kind of boring.
Yeah, maybe they need to get the young prince onto that panel, and that could help things out. What do you think, Max?
I've been staring at my phone.
I just made a young prince reference. And
Oh,
you
are
missed
we
it.
talking about Terrace House?
We were discussing
talking
the
about last week?
podcast within a
Are-
podcast.
Are
in
we
a
last
podcast.
week?
Right. Okay. This panel is so much worse than last week's panel.
They're
Last
not
week's-
even comparable, to be honest
It's
with you.
like James hated last week's panel. I think your opinion is most interesting.
Oh, this panel's terrible.
It's
It's not good.
truly.
I just think they can cut that whole like all of the panel shots. Like they can have them in the show when they're doing like the training or whatever, like the exercises. But like just cut the whole podcast and the podcast thing.
Yeah, it's atrocious. I can't believe the show is at season 8 and nobody said this isn't giving us anything. We should just cut it.
The only good thing is that they were barely in the show.
I want like a director's cut.
No, wouldn't that be longer?
No, it's like they cut out all the dumb shit the director didn't want.
But the director always wants more shit.
No director worth his or her salts.
You know what
Would
the
want-
show really needs is more time lapses. Because like we only got to
Ooh,
see
yeah.
bits of shots of these people doing things. It'd been great if I could have seen some time lapses of like this person taking 50 minutes to like park their car.
100%.
Like I had no indication of how bad they were because they didn't really show The other thing they showed was like when they were hitting stuff.
That's a great point. Like the time lapse 57-minute backing up the hot dog truck would have been pretty epic. Though they do like it is kind of good how like they're just you see them kind of struggling and they just drop they got it done in 57 minutes. Like what? How is that possible?
Oh yeah.
All right, so
yeah.
what's the next one, Max?
The next one, so this is actually a section I really enjoyed. Andrew Younghusband is
the
just
best part.
he's talking big shit about probably the worst North American car of the past 17 years, the Chrysler PT Cruiser. He's just like, what's the difference between a PT Cruiser and an onion? If you cut up a PT Cruiser, nobody cries. I thought that was a good shitty joke.
Oh, there you go.
Oh man.
Probably his best joke of the night.
Peak young husband.
Peak young husband. So basically they put a giant tub of water on top of a PT Cruiser with the sunroof cut open. I don't understand why they couldn't just get a PT Cruiser with a sunroof, but that's
Do they
besides
make
the
PT
point.
Cruisers with sunroofs?
Probably. They made a convertible PT Cruiser actually. Looks like shit. You should look it up. But anyway, and then they have this obstacle course, and sort of the idea is you want to navigate this obstacle course while not being too jerky. Otherwise, you get covered in water, and whoever has the most water left in their bucket wins.
There's no winning in this show.
Whoever does that is not the loser.
The
How's that?
audience wins.
I mean, this was a great challenge.
It was so and like young husband was talking a big game of like it's coming, it's the one you've been waiting for, it's the water challenge. We're like I've never seen this show. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he started like, oh, this is good stuff.
Oh man.
It's just like, so he does the course.
Yeah, I like that he did the course
I
first.
like the host does the course, and he gets drenched. He drenches himself in water.
But just like
Not
he got
too
like
bad. It was like
80%.
5
He got like
liters or
80% through and had no water, and then he got a little bit on him at the very end.
He looked pretty wet, but yeah, I mean, he made it through most of the course without getting any water.
Well, there's 200 gallons on the PT Cruiser and
liters.
200 liters.
Come
Thank
on
you. And he got 5 liters on him, which is a decent amount of water, but nothing too crazy, as we soon
terrible.
saw.
Oh yeah, did we? Who started this one out? I forget who went. I think like, who was in the earlier batches.
the ones with the crop tops. Definitely
Oh,
went
the
first.
girls went first.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're wearing
Somebody's gotta-
white tank tops on this
Chris, how would
water
you
challenge.
How would you describe Margarita and her partner on this show?
This one was less out there, but like they're really putting themselves out there like hardcore.
Describe
like, yeah.
putting themselves out there. I'm not quite sure I understand what you're talking about.
What are they putting out there?
There's bazookas.
Sorry? What?
They're bazookas.
Oh,
Bazungas.
like from the big bazunga theory.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's talking about boobs, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. But how else would you describe Margarita?
What about bazonkos?
He's got nothing. He's really giving me some kind of death stare. I think we got to just move on. So anyways,
How would you describe her, James?
I was really looking for other opinions, but
Okay.
What's your opinion?
of
What's that?
Mary Berry and her friend.
oh man,
Oh gosh, this pod just went off the rails.
Oh, okay.
we got to move on.
All right.
So
Let me
now-
save it. Let me save it.
Save it, Max.
I think Margarita's kind of cute. The other
Okay,
one,
there you have it.
no.
All right.
There.
So
saves
anyways,
it.
they're not wearing a whole lot of clothing.
Margarita, hit me up on that Twitter.
Oh, there's no emails.
What's your Twitter?
America's most average driver.
Okay.
You're not at Max Youngwife?
I'm not married yet.
There you go.
To you, Margarita.
Oh man. So anyways, these
You
are
want to be
girls.
married to a terrible driver like that?
No, that's what Lyft is
Can
for.
we get Max and Margarita on BIP?
Oh,
Just get some bip action.
Let's get the BIP going.
What is the Bachelor of Canada?
I don't even know.
I think
called-
they really gotta get in on
They
that.
must have done some sort of Bachelor Canada.
There's no
Right?
Canadian like.
It might just be the
Bachelorette.
Bachelor Canada.
Yeah.
It
Is
could
it
just-
called like? Do you guys have like fun names for like bachelor parties? Do you call them like stag parties?
Yes.
The stag would be a great name for like a Canada style bachelor.
The
That's
stag.
correct.
That
the
sounds like a
stag
horror
is
movie.
a like.
What is that?
We're the only one that calls them bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying the stag. They should license that.
Yo, what's the stag?
Okay. Instead of bachelor parties, they're called stag parties elsewhere
Where?
In Canada.
in Canada.
UK.
Oh shit!
Canada, UK, Commonwealth.
Huh. Interesting.
So
there you
I'm
go.
saying-
And then the Bachelorette party
Is it like the same kind of thing, or like is it different in some way?
it's basically the same thing. It's just called a stag party.
What's
Huh,
the
for both-
bachelorette?
both
What's
sides?
bachelorette one called?
I think it's stagette.
No, it's
Stag.
not sag yet.
No? Okay.
Not well, at least not in the UK. It's I'll look it up.
Staggeress. Okay,
So-
moving on.
Stegosaurus.
Yeah.
Man, so I'm curious. Do you guys think you could do this challenge, this water tank challenge thing?
Yes, if I. Okay, so it starts off with you have to go to 50 kilometers per hour
Yep.
and then stop by a certain point.
Right.
I think
And it
if
seems like it's a
somebody,
decent length,
if
but
somebody
not,
gave
you
me
know.
guidance on like at what point should I be at 50 by, then I'd be good to go.
I think you just got to like figure it out. That's the whole puzzle.
All right.
It's like you got this far, you got to get to 50, then you got to
Maybe.
stop.
I
Then
have
you
the
gotta turn.
answer for people that want to
Hit,
know.
hit
Oh.
me.
It is a hen party.
That does not
That sounds.
That's definitely not in Canada.
That's what it is in the UK.
nuke all Commonwealth countries.
Whoa!
Easy Trump.
Wow!
Yeah.
Easy, let's let's just roll it back a little.
We
bit.
have listeners over there. You
Hen
can't say
party?
that. Yeah,
Hen party?
that's what they call it.
That's like
And
not
then it's
fun
stag, yeah.
or anything.
I don't know. It's
It is,
Stags
it
are
sounds
cool.
like
Hens are
it
not
is what
cool.
it is. I don't know, man.
man. So I don't think I could do this challenge that well.
Like,
Like it's very,
It
very
seems
difficult.
What's the standard? Like, did Andrew Younghusband successfully do the challenge even though he had 5 liters land on him?
I feel like you call it a W.
You call it a W?
It's probably a pass. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
mostly did okay.
Like that beginning part, I feel like is pretty hard.
oh, this thing starts out and it's just set up to bone you out of the gate. Like it's just how badly can we get you just hugely distracted, soaking wet, so that the British challenger is flustered.
The best part is like, so the first is a straightaway where you gotta go to 50 kilometers an hour and then stop.
Mm-hmm.
The best part is if you accelerate too fast and you get water on you while you're accelerating, you're just too flummoxed to actually finish like that whole section. And then you get like the one person got a ton of water, like 30 to like 50 liters of like immediately.
Oh yeah.
Because they just couldn't, they got flustered to begin with.
Mm-hmm. And then Flora, was this the one you were talking about that didn't hit 50?
No.
Oh man, yeah. So then Flora, one of the bad drivers, doesn't make 50 kilometers an hour, and she gets soaked and stopping and everything gets messed up. And then the hostess comes over, is like, "You didn't hit 50. Do it again," and they just makes
Then-
her reverse down
yeah,
the
she
course
reversed
where she
doing
gets
it.
drenched. And then she's got to try to get the 50 and stop again. And of course it goes horrible because it's obvious, like, it's going to go terrible.
It's weird because the one guy didn't stop and they didn't make him go back.
Yeah. Also, yeah, very true. There
Well,
were
that's
Like you
multiple
equally
nonstops.
failed.
Well, that's
Right.
the key, I guess. That's what you got to do. You got to ease into that stop by not really stopping. You just do the California stop at the end, and you're good to go.
I also feel like this is set up as a little wrong because there's no way to get all 200 liters out of that. Like you get 200 liters out of that, you doing some crazy stuff.
The car is
Whereas
over.
like to get that first like 10 liters, 20 liters, like it's
Easy.
like a log scale of like how hard it is to get the next like 10 liters out.
Oh,
Because
for
like
sure.
I feel like some of these people should have lost like 200 liters for how bad they were doing. We're like, oh, you lost 70 or 80. I'm like, oh.
Well, I think it's like if you lose just a ton on the first challenge, then like you can't lose that much more the rest of the way. Like
No, so
one,
I'm
no one even
Absolutely.
lost 100. It must be like real hard to.
That's what
to
I'm saying,
design.
is,
Yeah,
like,
no,
the-
totally. I agree with you.
And then so after that, like first go, then there's the precision steering section, which is basically weaving through this like tunnel.
You did not. There was no room. Like I felt like that was one of the hardest parts of the thing. Was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe the host was able to do it.
You just have to nail it. But like, yeah, so it's basically like a car's width. That's like the size of this PT Cruiser, which is like rims stacked up on top of each other.
It was very weird that there was like metal around all these cars. It's like you're just gonna scratch the shit out of that car.
Oh yeah, they destroy cars constantly on this show.
There was cars in this like S thing, and I'm like, why would you do that? You're just ruining that car.
I think like most of these cars are just like junk cars or whatever.
I'm sure, but
Yeah.
you just replace it with anything.
I don't know, man. You gotta make it real. You gotta feel the metal on metal.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I forget what it was after the steering
Well,
section.
after the steering section, they had to sort of pull into a little parking spot and then back out of it, back around some like fake people, and then park it in the back.
Oh,
They didn't really show a lot of that.
I think by
yeah.
that point, a lot of the water had come out. So I think that's like the least
Well,
missing
as
part,
we
except when they're like off in the middle of the grass.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like if it was designed differently, where like there was maybe a little more pockets, so like more water could come out easily, instead of this giant tub of water, which the more that's come out, the like less it's the chances it's more are gonna come out.
Still, great challenge, real fun.
Yeah.
So this show has the host doing some challenge work on his own. Do we need to start having our host do some challenges on the podcast?
I'm down. Should I legally change my last name to Old Wife?
Oh, that could be good.
I like Old Wife. No challenge.
I am like,
The host does not want any challenges. You don't think TJ's out there doing challenges, so.
so I have a question.
Hit
So
me.
in the first round of challenges here with the hot dog cart, there was multiple quitters or just people that couldn't finish. What if TJ was hosting this thing? You think he's putting up with that shit?
No.
Definitely.
What do you
not.
think TJ does in that situation?
I don't think TJ can host this show because like he's gonna like lose his mind the first episode when everybody quits.
They're going to be out there till like the next day.
Just do it again. Fill it up with more water. You're gonna get this right.
Get some more gas. We're being here all night. Get
Bring
some better
those trucks
lights.
out. Get the headlights here. We're going all night.
Oh man.
Like the production costs for that go up immensely because they never get to
It
leave.
just never ends.
The overtime costs on the production so high.
Oh, man.
Not allowed to quit.
Yeah, I guess they're filming this thing pretty quick. They said it was a week. That was episode 4.
Yeah.
So it's like they're filming like an episode in 2 days, basically.
I don't know.
I assume.
I wonder if they even film an episode in one day. Like,
Day
like,
and a half.
and then just spread out the release.
well, I guess this had to be 2 days because we saw the sunset on one of them.
Well, if it is a week, then we could say, well, maybe they really meant 8 days. So 4 episodes, 2 episodes a day.
Yeah, you're probably right. 2 days per episode.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. So, anyways, there you have it.
So I don't know if I have anything else to say about this challenge.
Good
Yeah.
It was real fun. It was enjoyable
fun.
to watch. The
Next challenge.
Next challenge was a swerving challenge.
Yeah.
Where they had to go
yeah.
up 70 kilometers an hour, and then they would humans would pull out like a fake taxi, and then you had to swerve the other direction and then stop.
And then- yeah.
And you had 2 chances.
Right. I mean, yeah, I guess the whole thing with this one, it's like, hey, something jumps out in front of you in the street. You got to be able to avoid it
And
safely.
sort of the key to this is do not brake while you're swerving because that makes your car very squirrely.
Mm-hmm.
Brake after.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
Is squirrely a technical term? Or?
It is commonly used in the performance driving sphere.
Oh, good to know.
Did you learn that in class?
No, I spend way too much time on like car blogs and doing autocross and stuff. Like I've done courses like these. I'm just not shit.
Oh, damn. Okay, Max, do you think you could do this challenge?
100%.
100% on the first go,
Absolutely.
not hitting anything.
Can you
I-
do all of these challenges?
Let me
and
I mean,
it's not like you're doing it in your car. Whatever. You're doing it like you're on this show.
yes.
So you get the whole like ramp up of like, okay, this is the 101 how to back up the trailer. And then-
You know what? The trailer would be the one I would have the most trouble with, just because it's so not a thing I do. But I would be able to do it, I believe.
how many liters of water are you getting on yourself?
If Andrew Younghusband got 10 on, I would say, maybe 20. He's done.
He got
He's
5.
done 8 seasons of this.
Got 5.
I'm saying I'm doing double of
Whatever
the Young
he'll do.
Huz.
So you'll take a 10. 10
Young
liters.
Huz.
Young
Yo, can we
Huzzy.
make- who's got a sunroof? Anyone got a sunroof on their car here?
Who wants to get mold in their car, guys?
Yo, and if anyone wants to donate a car to Who Put This On, I bet we got a handle for that. we'll definitely do something.
So
Yeah.
just rent a car, get the insurance, be like, oh yeah, and then be like, I don't know what happened.
No, dude, that's on tape now. We're done.
I have a video of me. I'm showing to people of me going around in cones and shit.
Oh, do we got to put this on the Facebook page?
Oh,
maybe.
we should post this video on Max.
I'll
Yeah,
show.
he's
I'll show
doing
you
stuff.
later.
Okay. To be seen later at Who Put This On Facebook.com.
YouTube.net.
It's Facebook.com/who put this
org.
on. It's not that complicated.
It is what it is. I don't make these things up.
So everyone did pretty well on this challenge, except for
Diane.
was Diane the one that failed twice?
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them failed twice.
Okay.
Diane failed twice, but then the one who really couldn't do it was, I don't remember what his name is. The guy with only one good eye.
Oh, Kevin.
Oh,
Kevin.
Yeah, he
Kevin.
went right into the taxi.
Yeah, the taxi the fake taxi comes out. You're supposed to swerve the other way, and you just plowed right into it head on.
Also,
And that
and
fake
it
taxi
went
would
sailing.
fly it.
That was the best scene. Yet.
My favorite part of all this is everyone is using the same Ford Mustang that was bought fresh for like
Brand new Ford Mustang. beginning
season
of
8,
season.
episode 1,
Yep.
and it just keeps getting more and more fucked up for the show. It's kind of
missing,
fun.
like all the bumpers.
Oh
and, like,
yeah.
oh man, it's only like half through the season too.
So there was, I don't know who it was, but the one girl, she got up to 80 kilometers an hour. And then the people just didn't pull the taxi
Oh, yeah.
like at all. And
that
she
was
was like,
great.
I was waiting for the taxi. I'm like, yeah, you guys. And she was like, they were like, well, you went 80 kilometers an hour. I'm like, you guys fucked up. It was not her.
They're like, she went so fast, the humans
Always
didn't have
gotta
time
have
to react.
Gotta have a plan B.
That
like,
was-
what? You
yeah.
fucked up.
For sure, they definitely burned her in that situation. That was a hard burn.
I mean, she definitely shouldn't have hit the city, but like, that's not entirely her fault.
right? Because she's like in her mind, she's just waiting for like to see a thing, and so she doesn't see it, and so she just freezes essentially, right?
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
she definitely got a bad beat on that one.
I feel like that's like a redo. It's like, oh, okay, like we were supposed to,
Maybe if that one had gotten better, she would have graduated. Who knows?
yeah.
So
oh
then,
man, the graduation
after this challenge, there was a graduation. The judges, the podcast panel, decides if somebody should go home or not.
there's a deliberation section.
Yeah, which was equally as boring as any
Oh,
of their
it's terrible,
others.
'cause
So
it's our
bad.
favorite people. The
Yeah, the
freaking-
only
oh.
good driver on this episode goes home. The 18-year-old.
Yeah, and he clearly was the better one in like every challenge they did.
Yeah.
Like,
And so basically they were just debating like, do we let him go home or do we like not have anyone go home? That was basically the only question.
Right. Which brings us to an interesting question of the show, right? Which is like, hey, are people trying to stay on the show for more airtime, or like, are they just really trying to graduate and like get back to like their normal lives and get their license back?
This is a really good question because they made a point of the fact that the podcast panel interviews them all before they make their decision, and they're all like, I'm learning. I don't want to go yet. I feel like I need more time. And it's like, do you really need more time to learn, or do you just want to stay on TV?
Totally. It's just
well, I mean, so it's 2 weeks for the whole show to film, most likely.
Yeah.
So it's not a whole lot of time you're taking off work to be on the show.
That 18-year-old kid, he's not taking any time off work.
Yeah,
He
but the
doesn't
other
care.
people.
yeah. I don't know.
I see what you're saying, and there probably is,
I don't
maybe-
know. I just don't know what the goal of the show is, right? Like, is the goal of the show to become Canada's worst driver, or to like
No.
prove that you're not. Because like, don't get me wrong, there are some like seemingly like pretty bad drivers on this thing.
It seems
Oh, yeah.
like the motivations of the people on the show are they want to get better at driving. So they don't really care if, like, I don't know when it gets down to it. I'm sure they care if they're the worst driver or not. But at this point in time, they're like, yo, I'm fucking awful. Dude, help me.
There's definitely a few folks on this show, namely Kevin, who definitely gets a bit down on himself. Oh, and Azim. So I also kind of like when they tee up these characters on the show or people. I don't know. I guess it's reality.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Who knows? These people / characters. They all have these like little like taglines that go with them. So it's like when they're teeing up Azim, they're like, and here's stressed out Azim and distracted Margarita. And
Dude, it literally reminds me of, Lion Ted and all these Trumpisms.
oh man, yeah,
Crooked Hillary.
Yeah, it's just that, but for every single person on the
It's
show.
insane. Unconfident Flora or some shit.
Oh man,
What
It's so
was
great.
the Asian couple where the
Flora and Frank.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Frank.
Frank definitely yelling all the time?
That seems like a real bad situation for Flora.
Yeah, I feel like
Flora,
he's causing her to be a
hun.
bad driver.
Yeah. No, he's just stressing out all the fucking time.
yeah. So Flora definitely seems like a pretty reserved person.
She
generally on
didn't
the show,
seem
pretty
to.
quiet.
She didn't seem to do that well when we saw clips of her with the instructor, though. So it's like not all Frank, but Frank isn't helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Frank, the husband, comes in a bit strong. He's definitely yelling a lot and like very clearly pissed like a lot of the time on the show.
I feel like the people that brought them on. So we didn't really tee that up, but the worst driver is nominated by their friend, and they come on the show with them. But they're not on they're not in the instructions. So like they don't know what the experts told them to do. So they're like can't even help. Like remember, they said go this way when you wanted to go that way. They're just like watching you do real bad.
Yeah, they're definitely just hanging on. I really don't understand why those people are in the car with them, like at all.
For the entertainment value.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
I mean,
when
it's
that
great.
water is just being dumped on that kid's mom and she's like, what are you doing to me? Like that's great stuff.
Right. I mean, it definitely works out, but like I can't figure out the reason for them to actually be there.
Well, like
aside from the TV
for
entertainment
Frank and
value.
Flora, part of it is like Flora's problem is that Frank is always like
In the
trying
car.
to like talk to her and be like, no, you're doing this, you gotta do that, and they're trying to point out that like, hey, Frank, just shut up and let her drive, and so that's part of the process here. But,
Right. That's fair. And I guess right, if you have your friends there, like you're more likely to be driving with them.
And like
that's
with,
your common scenario,
with
right?
the guy who graduated and his mom, like they're trying to point out like the mom is part of the problem, that she's like telling him it's okay, he's getting all these tickets and paying his tickets and stuff, and be like, you gotta start telling your kid he sucks driving and make him drive better.
That's also one of he's had 10 accidents
In 2 years.
in 2 years.
No, I think it was 1 year.
Oh, it was
One or 2 years.
Well,
yeah.
I don't
way
know.
too little time.
It was a
to have
lot of
10
accidents. Yeah.
And just to fix the cars for 10 accidents.
Insane.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't. They're not seemingly overly like wealthy or anything. So like how are you affording all these like car accidents and tickets and like expenses?
I
Is
don't
he
know.
killing people? Like what's going on?
Obviously not, because
Yeah.
wouldn't be there.
I wonder like what kind of accidents. They didn't really clarify that. Is it like he hit like a post, or did he like hit someone's car, or did they
Mostly fender benders, I'd guess.
right,
Those are cheaper to fix, cheap fix.
right.
But how do you afford insurance?
He's just not filing it. But he's on TV saying I had 10 accidents last year.
Not getting insurance after
Oh
that.
man, do you think like these guys are just like all kinds of screwed?
I bet they have insurance, and their insurance premiums are insane. They're just paying tons of money for insurance.
Man, do you think it like goes down if you go on this show?
No.
Do you think it goes up
Maybe.
if they find out?
Like, we saw the water challenge. We saw you hit that taxi
We saw
cab.
that 70 liters hit you. It's doubling. Those premiums are doubling this year.
I don't know.
Man, is this like a secret, like, what's the like State Farm of Canada?
I don't know.
Shit.
It's
Okay.
a secret state farm
Province Farm.
Province Farm.
Oh, good answer.
So good. Damn.
show. Max, you need to be a writer on this show.
Who put this on, or Canada's Worst Driver?
Canada's Worst Driver.
I
Both.
already write this show.
Maybe Max should be the host. He claims he can do all the challenges.
Oh, there we go.
New host idea. Let's
I
get
mean-
America's Worst Driver. We'll do
I'm
America's
America's most average driver. Thank you very much.
That's a good segue. How many different country worst driver things do you think there are out there?
7.
Any other guesses?
Do you have an answer?
My other
Oh.
guess is 18.
3.
Let's go 9.
18.
Oh!
Damn it.
At least according to Wikipedia.com.
Am I allowed to have 2 guesses?
Well, we'll give it to you.
The
His
fact
first
that I
guess
got
was 3.
No, my first guess was 7.
Oh, 7. Okay.
It originated with Britain's Worst Driver. That's how it started. And
Ooh.
so, according to Wikipedia, unlike other worst series around the world, Canadian version emphasizes the learning process of the contestants and the science of driving. As such, is often more serious than other worst shows around the world, which is mostly comedic, and is the longest running of any of the series to date.
There we go.
Interesting.
Maybe they hit on some sort of better formula.
Maybe.
Seems like it.
And so it says, like, so we were talking about, like, do you want to stay on, do you want to go home? And it was like, there's no real prizes. They give, like, the person who gets named the worst driver, like, a fake trophy or a trophy, but, like, they
No,
don't.
it's fake. It's
In other
virtual.
things, like, you get a prize if you go home early because you graduated early. In other things, you get to the end and you get a prize. And this one is just like, nah, you're better. Hopefully, you're a better driver now. And apparently, in some seasons, they've actually called, like, the provincial licensing office to be like, you got to take this person's license away. They are a danger to society.
Oh, my
that's
god. That's so good.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so this is a question that I usually ask Harrison.
Would
So-
this show be better naked?
Yeah.
I mean,
When that water's
does
dropping,
it need to be any more naked? Like, it was pretty.
There was one per couple of them.
The white tank tops, like,
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
it's still on TV. It's the same problem you'll have. It's just blurred out stuff.
Yeah, I'm just, just saying. We gotta tee it up. I don't think it would be, but
would Andrew Younghusband also be naked? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Why?
Well-
What's the reasoning on the naked? Because it's illegal to drive naked, isn't it?
well, it's illegal
Maybe
to be
in America.
outside naked, right?
I'm pretty sure you can't just be driving your car naked.
You definitely can't be driving.
But
your
can you
car
be
naked.
walking
Right.
down the street naked?
No, it's
So
public nudity.
I think it falls under public nudity. I don't think it's a separate "don't drive naked" rule.
What if all your windows are tinted?
Try it out, Max. Let us know how it goes.
Not anytime soon.
Max, is windows in it?
No.
Do you want to get them tinted?
Have you ever driven your car naked?
No.
Have you ever wanted to drive your car naked?
No.
That doesn't seem very confident.
There's a little bit there.
It's more like maybe there was a really hot day where it was more of a like temperature situation.
Do you have like leather seats? That's dangerous. You
Get all
stuck.
sticky.
Oh, don't want to get sticky.
But you just it's a hot day. Oh
Yeah.
man.
All right, Rob. Well, what's your ranking for this one?
Got to give this the top third. This was a pretty
man.
entertaining show, and not a lot of like recap stuff, and 3 challenges, and like even though the judging was not great, like they didn't waste a lot of time with the judging and draw it out. They were pretty to the point. So I think solid all around, entertaining. Thumbs up.
James, so what do you got here?
So I gotta break it down.
Obviously,
So-
you're breaking it down.
There's the new detail. I'm gonna go 2.5 on this one.
You can't. You nope. Veto.
He's vetoing me.
You can't do.
I'm gonna triple veto that
You can't do that.
on
You can
behalf
only
of Rob.
pick middle of the middle tier. You can't pick middle of the middle of the middle tier. No, there's no.
The top tier has 5 tiers now. It's fine.
No,
Yeah.
no. The top tier would have 6 tiers. Like you can't. There's no.
Okay. He's calling me on that one.
The
So,
host says no.
all right. Then I'll.
You have a
then I'll-
9-point scale. You pick.
I'll put it at a 2.
So it's
So
middle.
it's middle of the top bucket.
All right. Why do
Mostly-
you think it should? Why do you think it shouldn't be there? Like, why
The
is there
top.
the half bucket thing?
Okay, so the half bucket thing. So they lose a point for the podcast within a podcast stuff. I think we pretty much all can unanimously agree that's got to go.
I think that it would be fine if they like had like comedians or somebody doing it, but
right, but like with these people, whatever. Like I'm just okay without that piece.
yeah.
And then so the half is really like the host is awful, but then has great moments. So like I can't totally ding the host, but like the bad parts are like pretty bad. But it's kind of like, and it's been interesting rewatching this because I've seen like the season, but it's just like it's so bad. It's just kind of funny that like look at this, look at him try this joke.
I mean, the fact that you've watched like seasons of this, James.
Yeah, just
I
the
can't
one.
believe it's. You've only watched one season.
Season 8, but I have seen a couple episodes of the next season.
Because I feel
Then it
like
fell
that.
off.
Can't believe that's not like top. Because like you've gone out of your way before this podcast.
Well, that's why it's in the top third.
But like it's not a one.
Right, this is not the best of the top thirds because just there's like a couple of minor things with it,
All right.
but it's a great show. It's a lot of fun. It's a really easy like. There's not like a lot of stress with the show. It's really like an unwindy show, so like it's kind of good for like end of the day or whatever, just kind of chilling out.
All right. I got you at a bottom of the top third.
Ooh,
It's at 2 top thirds, 2 weeks.
too. So you definitely interested to liking it? Watch.
I like
watch
it.
some more.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch more, but it was definitely entertaining. When they just drive into something, it's just so entertaining. I would love for them to have more like. I want to see the whole course. I don't want to see somebody do a whole course. So like
Yeah.
some time lapses
Mhm.
would really edge the show to the next level.
Right.
And I agree with you. I mean, it almost drops into a whole another tier because I feel like they're just not doing enough with what they should be doing.
Right. It's pretty close. Like there's just like a few things here and there, like some tweaks you could do.
Yeah. And I feel like these are real people, so like that's also nice. It's not like they're on the show to be on a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of putting comedians on the panel, what if Tyrese was on the panel?
Oh, Tyrese be great, dude. Like Tyrese just is the panel. It's like, let's see what Tyrese got to say about it, and he just starts laying into somebody about something.
And then he does the chorus as like
Yeah, that'd be great.
see if he gets some water.
Oh man, what if that like Fast and Furious do some kind of like worst driver situation?
Fast and Furious worst driver.
Right, and it's just them running the show, but
that'd
it's
be
like
great.
the Fast crew.
That's a Fast 20.
Right.
All right, Max, what do you got for us?
Middle of the top.
Oh man, we got a lot of.
It's a fun ass show.
You're gonna go home and binge all this on Netflix?
Thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean this is way too late for people at home, but this is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I stumbled upon this. It was basically like random night. I was looking for something to watch. Didn't want to like go into anything crazy. Like, well, this show looks interesting. Okay, seems kind of fun, lighthearted. Okay, and it just kind of started rolling. And a couple nights later, boom, there you go.
So I do have a question.
Hit me.
So you guys watch Canada's Worst Handyman?
Yep.
That's right.
How does that compare to this show?
This show is so much better.
But like, is it the same format? Like, what are the differences we got going?
It was a similar, like they get a bunch of people. Again, I think they had people with them who had nominated them, right?
Yes.
And so, but they're in this like house, and there's just sort of like handyman challenges they're given, and then they like just make fun of how bad a job they do of sort of figuring that stuff out.
It's like you didn't put those boards together. At
So
the
they
right
weren't
angle.
given like professional training of like, this is how you put up a shelf.
No, I
They were
think-
just like, put up a shelf.
I think there were some people there to kind of do it, but like the first thing I remember is that they basically like the door to their room had like a barrel in front of it, and there was like, oh, you just have to push the door like this, you can open it, and like one person actually literally like broke the door because they couldn't figure out how to like push the barrel out of the way, and instead they just broke the door.
What's that got to do with being a handyman?
I think it's just about like
It's common sense.
common sense, spatial awareness stuff, things like that. But so maybe like we only watch like this one we watched the 4th episode where they were kind of getting into it a little bit. That one we just watched the first episode of a season, so maybe it gets more in. But I feel like it's similar format, but like here the challenge is more interesting. There's more
when you
fun stuff
screw
going
up,
on.
it's very entertaining. Whereas like when you screw up as a handyman, I'm like, all right, you nailed that wrong.
I guess that shelf will fall down,
There was
Yeah.
no flying fake taxis in Canada's Worst Handyman.
or like 70 liters of water dumped on people in tank tops.
No.
Okay.
So maybe they had a challenge where they built something to hold water and then put it over someone in a tank top, and then it's like, oh, all the water is on the person.
Here, you have to nail this door in, but at the top there's this bucket of water. If it falls over, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I don't know how many people actually watched the challenge this week.
I did not.
I did not.
James,
Ooh,
did
I
you-
did.
I also watched the challenge this week.
Is it good?
Did we recap last week? I feel like we
So
were
last
like-
week we hadn't
Ooh.
seen last week's, but we recapped the week before's.
Yeah. I don't really remember what happened last week.
Where's Harrison when you need him?
This week's episode was really good.
This week,
This
The
week's
last-
episode,
yeah.
one of the best episodes.
So what's going on in
Um,
Redemption House?
So Redemption House. So
three
as-
people.
There's three people. The
Corey.
guys are all from the same alliance.
No, so hang on, hold up. You're jumping ahead.
I don't know.
Redemption House currently 3 people. It's Corey, Anissa, and who's the other girl that was in the Redemption House by herself for the previous episode, for like the whole time.
Why
no
are you
one-
looking at me?
Shit! What? I thought you saw this, Rob.
No,
No.
I just got the update from Harrison last week.
Damn it. Oh, so anyways, some other girl that's in the Redemption
Yeah, I
House.
don't know who it
So
is.
it's those
Last
3.
So is Corey banging
then-
both of them now? Corey's the one
So
who bangs
like
everybody,
the start
right?
of it was
Yeah.
like they're all 3 hanging out, but then it's this other girl who's like, I'm feeling like a third wheel, blah blah blah, and then it's just Corey and Anissa goes on a date, and then I'm just looking at the screen like, why doesn't she leave the house? She can like go to the beach or something. Like they're just out and about, and it's like, nah, you got to sit here, be locked in the Redemption House by yourself because you got cut. Oh, so that was rough, but yeah, that happened with that.
What
And
made the episode
then-
great?
Oh man, well, where to begin?
So
Where to be-
Camilla.
We should start the end of the previous was the club night episode where there was a bunch of drinking and as you would,
Yeah.
and it ended with a shot of Tony and Camilla making out on the bus.
And Tony is the one. He's got a wife
Tony-
and kid.
I think he's engaged, or at the time it was his girlfriend. I don't know if they were engaged or not, but I believe had a kid.
Yeah.
And a girlfriend.
And
Right.
so like
No.
So he's cheating on her now, essentially, with Camilla. on
Here's
his
the deal
bus.
with Tony. He hooked up with some girl on the challenge. They had a kid.
Right.
They broke up. He hooked up with some girl on the challenge. They had a kid.
Oh,
They're currently together.
well, we're
whoa. So like the one, not this week's episode, but last week's episode teed it up like this is going to be a big thing.
yeah, it was.
No, but then this week they were like, oh
I don't know,
yeah, he
the-
said no, and they weren't really making out. So like,
Sure, it still was
They-
what
they-
it was. He's still making out with her.
I don't know. They kind of teed it up both ways. This week they said they really weren't making out.
I don't know. Like when you read it, like when you hear anything about it, it's always just like where it was a girlfriend at the time or whatever. Anyways, I don't know like beyond that, but sure, could be either way.
Don't look at me.
I don't know. So that's where it ends, and then it's basically like that's the cliffhanger. And then this episode basically boots up, and it's like it keeps going. It picks off of that shot, and then shows Tony going to the house, like kind of going to bed, like talking to the other dudes or whatever, kind of like unwinding, like kind of drunk and like whatever. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I had whatever." He's just talking shit. Then Camillinator starts rolling around the house. So she's like
She's
drunk.
She's
like
blackout drunk.
just beyond, like smashed. Well, like at first I guess she's having fun. Like she's real drunk, having fun. Some of the other girls are like dancing and whatever, having a great
Yeah.
time. And then the grenades start flying.
Oh yeah.
So
she's
where
screwing
does
herself.
Camilla walk into in the situation, or what does she?
walks into the
overhear
guy's room.
that starts this whole thing off.
It was like something about who's gonna make her leave or something.
Right. So like a bunch of dudes are like talking with like Tony in like the dude's bedroom, right? And at some point, you know, Jordan's talking some stuff or whatever, like who you think, what do you think is gonna happen with this or that, blah blah. So at some point, like Leroy chimes in. Our music's cued, but you know we'll get that in post, Max.
Yeah.
Max will get it
We
in
got
post.
this.
Don't worry. So Leroy's talking, and he starts going on about like, oh, I think this will happen to that, whatever. But like if you start looking at who's left, it's her and her, whatever. And he says, so somebody's got to take her home or take her out. At which point, right when he says that, Camillinator slides open the door and hears him say that, and starts just going off. She thinks that he was talking about her and like who's gonna send her home, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. It
She
just
was like-
all shit broke loose.
Yeah, well, shit got real when she starts using racial slurs.
Yeah,
and the whole house is like
Everybody
everyone's backpedaling because they're like, "Whoa, we can't be saying any of that. Don't be saying that. We can't be saying that."
Yeah.
And then she just kept doing it. It was like they just kept
oh, it was bad. It's
I'm-
definitely bad.
like people kept trying to get her out of the house. Nope, she coming back for more.
Right. So she's just berating him and calling him a bunch of racial stuff. Not
and he's
good.
just like sitting there, just
He's definitely like, it's not okay, but you're real drunk right now. You gotta like stop though. Like,
Yeah,
he
he's
did not raise a hand or
I
like
only
anything.
heard
He
about
didn't even
this.
really raise his voice.
Yeah.
But yeah. At which point, so Camilla Nader is running around the house acting like an insane person. Security at like some point she's fired up. At some point she's in the backyard. And so she like gets some like dumbbells or something, and she's like running back at the house with these dumbbells, like acting like she's gonna throw them or something. At which point the security rolls in, is
my
like
God.
he grabs like starts grabbing her and putting the dumbbells down and stuff. They're like, okay, and then so basically the producers like weigh in, are like, okay, like we're gonna send you to a hotel for the night. And so she's losing her fucking mind. They're like, okay, go get some clothes, like pack your shit. She goes in there and whatever.
she's freaking out.
And
She's
she's
packing shit too. She's just like
Furious.
so angry for no reason.
what if they sent her to the redemption house?
Nope.
No. Yeah.
No,
so,
she
so
won
it was
the
unclear.
challenge.
So yeah. So her and Tony won the challenge. So
right,
they were
but
both
she needs to be
exempt.
redeemed after that.
No, well, okay. So now she goes to the hotel and everyone in the house is like, and she's like, fuck you, fuck all y'all out. I'm coming after
Yeah.
all you, fuck blah, 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 right? Just going off and off and off. And so now the next morning comes around, everyone's like, so that was nuts last night, right? And like, are
But
we gonna-
she knows nothing about it.
yeah, so she rolls in looking like a mess with no shoes on, and then doesn't say a word to anybody. The first person she comes back and to like ask to like see is Tony, not Leroy, for like an apology.
But she didn't know.
We don't know.
She clearly had no idea.
Right, so she goes on the roof and talks with Tony, and Tony's like, so how you feeling? She's like, oh damn, I feel like shit. What happened?
So just blacked out everything.
Oh yeah, she blacked out hard.
Right. She's like, I remember saying some stuff that I probably shouldn't have said or something. She's like, but I don't like recall. It's bits and chunks or whatever. So she like knows the whole thing of what she did. She doesn't talk to anyone for the rest of the day in the house. She's just by herself up until it's time to like nominate the people to go in for the
I don't know
challenge.
how she could have talked to anyone, to be honest. Like maybe
Yeah.
like you do stand up thing. You're like, yeah, guys, I'm really sorry, but like, and then just leave. But you're just like in this situation
I don't
where
know.
you fucked. Like
Yeah.
everyone knows you're fucked up. This is on national TV. You can't.
I don't
say
know what you
anything
do.
like that.
And that was basically like, yeah, I don't know what you do there. It's crazy. It feels insane not to say something though, like to just go sit. Like I don't know. So then TJ's on the thing, right? He's like starting to go on of like, who do you vote for, whatever. At which point Leroy chimes in and interrupts TJ. He's like, hold up, TJ. I think before we go any further, we need to see what Camilla like has, if Camilla has anything to say to us. And then so TJ's like, okay, Camilla, what do you have to say? And yeah, it's
I mean,
it gets, then shit gets pretty real again.
Yeah, I mean, she gives a pretty heartfelt apology. I felt,
Yeah.
And Leroy was like, it's not okay, but it's okay.
Right. He essentially forgave her, even though she didn't ask for forgiveness. She's like, can't ask for that. I know, like, it's fucked up. Like, all this
she
stuff.
gave a pretty good speech. I'm wondering
Right.
if some sort of producer helped her out with that.
I didn't get the impression. It's just, like, you get the person watching just like, yeah, you're screwed here.
You fucked up, son.
Right. So, anyways, that was the big drama
So, like,
of the week.
The drama was great.
Drama was through the roof.
And then the
And
challenge
there
was
was a
great.
challenge too. They voted people in. So who did they nominate? They
It
nominated
was Hunter.
Nelson. Well, yeah,
Hunter and Nelson. Was that?
right, yeah. So Hunter was on the chopping block. Nelson got nominated by Tony, and then he got the double thing or whatever. But yeah, so Hunter and Nelson are in. And on the
Nelson
girls'
is
side,
out. Nelson lost.
Chris just keeps stealing all the punches. I'm trying to tee him up. He's just like, and here's what
We're
happened.
trying to move along here.
That's fair. We've been talking about
Rob,
this
if
for a
Rob
while.
wanted to watch the challenge, you could go watch the
I
challenge.
feel like we did talk about the whole thing. We got to move on. Let's move it on.
Yeah, it was
Alright.
a great episode.
It
The
was nuts.
challenge
I gotta
itself
catch up.
was good.
It's crazy.
Like the challenge was like you had to push somebody off an edge, and like you were chained by like your foot and like your arms or
Oh,
something. It
shit.
was like it was insane. It was really intense. It was like
It was an impressive challenge. Like it was a physically impressive challenge.
yeah, definitely one of the best episodes of the challenge
Might be episode of the season.
so far. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely this season.
I mean the other episode is when Tony had all that drama. That was a pretty good episode too.
I mean, Tony was pretty involved in drama, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yep.
So Camilla's still on the show, just
yeah.
in the main part.
So,
Okay.
Well, because she won the
Yeah.
the
But she didn't get
first-
expelled for her behavior.
well, that's the
or
whole
anything.
thing. Like, it's unclear like what the real rules of the show are. So it's just like, don't
Well-
punch somebody, and yeah, I guess you won't be kicked off.
Well, she would definitely have been in the like ending challenge if she didn't win the first challenge.
Right. So if she doesn't win like the next thing, she's definitely gonna be thrown in.
She's gonna be thrown in
Fucked.
probably till she gets kicked out. To be
Right.
honest,
So like, yeah, remember that time you said all those things that you shouldn't have said? You're in again.
yeah, it's just gonna happen
Right.
unless she wins the challenges,
Right.
which no one's gonna help her. So like that's gonna be much harder.
Yep. She's totally screwed. Does anybody else have any updates? What's the update front like?
Started watching Twin Peaks season 3. Real good.
Ooh.
I have not watched any Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks is good. You should watch it.
I also have not watched any Twin Peaks.
I couldn't even tell you what it's about.
It's barely a real weird show, but really interesting.
It's like a mystery show, from what I gather.
It's somewhere between like weird horror mystery whodunit and like
Is it-
charming backwoodsy stuff. It's weird. It's good.
Is it like a predecessor of Lost in terms of like what the fuck is happening?
It's much better than Lost, but
Whoa.
yes,
Much better than Lost.
much better than Lost.
Interesting. Like early seasons of Lost, not late seasons.
Yeah, it is much better than Lost.
Like pre-Hatch Lost is real good.
Oh,
I even
yeah.
like post-Hatch Lost.
Like the first season, Hatch Lost is really good too.
Oh yeah. It's better than Lost.
I feel like post Others Lost is bad.
Yes.
Time Travel Lost is pretty good.
The Flash.
What about
You know-
post Siler Lost?
Stop it, Max.
We had a good thing going and had to ruin it.
So anyway, does anyone want a quick BIP update?
Hit me.
Oh, shit.
Maybe.
So I didn't see this episode, but my wife saw it and filled me in on the Dean situation.
So we're getting what second tier
Second tier update.
second hand
But then I
knowledge?
saw part of the next episode. It's going to be a little bit about that. So Dean was spent some time with Christina when they were in hiatus. But then this girl named D'Lo shows up and he's real interested in her. And he basically keeps flip-flopping back and forth. Then he has a real heart-to-heart with Christina about how he really wants to make it work and really wants to, be in a relationship with her. And they go on like a date together and it's great. And then Dean just is making out with D'Lo in the pool. And Christina and some others come by and see Dean making out with D'Lo in the pool. And she gets really upset. And the best part is Dean asked someone else about it, they're like, yeah, we were coming down and we saw. And his response was, well, why didn't you just take her somewhere else?
That's pretty good. That's
So
pretty
Christina self-exiled herself from the show. She's like, I'm done with this. And so D'Lo just gave the rose to Dean and was like, this is great. Now I can date Dean. And so
good. This show is bananas.
then Bryce showed up. Remember, Bryce was the aspiring drummer who hates Waboom.
Who
And
doesn't hate Waboom?
but like all Bryce does is talk about Waboom.
Oh, right. That was the guy
And
who was like trying to fight him and stuff.
He talks about Waboom and complains that whenever he's around, people only want to talk about Waboom, but it's his own fault. So guess what Bryce did? He talked endlessly about how he needs to move on from Waboom, and he hoped this is a great opportunity for that, talking about Waboom. So Bryce and one other guy new guys came in, and neither of them got a rose. Basically, the couples all stayed together. Then the episode I saw, they brought in these twins who were apparently on a season before and are nuts. And the twins are like, one of the twins like, I'm going on a date with Dean. That's my only goal. I'm not going to take no for an answer. And she like confronts him real aggressively. And you can see in Dean's eyes, he's like, oh, I so want to go on this date. And like, you know, she's hot and this is awesome, but I look so terrible. And he's like, it would be disrespectful to both Christina and D'Lo after, you know, the journey we've been through. It's like, so basically they get turned down, both the girls, because all the people are coupled up now. And like one of them's like, I guess I'll have to ask the Tickle Monster who wants to go out with the Tickle Monster. And then, so they basically storm off the show because no one will go on a date with them.
Oh man!
Wait, they're only on the show for one episode?
They're on the show for one episode, and
That's so good.
no one wants to go on a date with them to mess up their relationship, so they storm off. And then that episode ends with Chris Harrison being like, this is the last day, we're wrapping it up. And supposedly the episode this week was the finale.
Whoa. What?
And so basically everyone got coupled up, and then there's no more like moving around.
I
And
guess that's
so
fair. They're just like, hey, nothing's happening.
wrap it up, we gotta cut it.
That
so
was
it's
like 6-7 episodes.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw the finale. I was like, what?
Was it
pretty
confirmed the
Is
finale?
that normal for BIP?
So it sounds like this was fast for BIP, but like I got the feeling like, so like I watched part of this episode and got some updates on episodes I didn't see. I really got the feeling the producers were like, damn it, no one is like switching up anymore. Everyone got all coupled up. That's it. We got to end the show.
I feel like they had that 2-week hiatus, and that screws up their production schedule. So I feel like at this point they were like, we don't have the island for that much longer. All right, guess it's over. Like, I'm sure if the producers wanted to, they could throw some
cut
wrenches
their
in
losses,
there.
basically.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, we had that 2-week thing. We really stretched the shit out of that. So, you know, we just cut the losses. Cut it a short season.
Yeah. So that's what I got for the BIP update. So I don't know what happened in the finale.
I've been watching some Rick and Morty.
No spoilers for last
yeah.
night's, please.
There you go.
It was 2 nights ago.
Just okay. It was actually
Gotta
like
respect
3.
the no spoiler request.
It's very good. It's
will say it was
definitely
enjoyable. It was
less
good.
jokey than I feel like it's been in the past. But
I will not confirm nor deny it.
the Expendables 3, what was the name of the?
It's like the Revenge Makers 3 or something.
Whatever. That episode is my favorite episode. This
Yeah,
season.
that one's good.
Anyone else? All right, guys. Well, you can find us on Twitter at WithUsOn. You can find us on Facebook.com/WithUsOn. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. See you guys next time.
What address at gmail.com?
Whoputthison.
At gmail.com. Got it.
Whoputthison@gmail.com.
All right. See you, folks.